Okay, so you can come to, dude, he's acting like he's 7 pounds. You're like chock full of these kind. Something else I've noticed, oh, look at all the herring he's spitting up. He's spitting up herring everywhere. One thing I've always wondered is why their eyes turn red during the spawn. I've never understood that. Look how red his eyes are. The love makes their eyes red. Little spotted bass there. That was fun. All right, guys, so you can see I'm out here fishing some finesse baits. I'm actually just throwing a shaky head around the bank. Right now we're in the spring of the year here on Lake Hartwell, and the spotted bass are spawning. It's a real easy way to catch them. They're very aggressive when they're on the bed, so you can kind of get along the bank pretty closely and just kind of plunk around with a shaky head or even a drop shot, and you can catch, I won't say as many as you want, but you can catch a lot of fish right now. And I'm kind of doing something that's taboo. You'll notice my spinning reel, I've got all fluorocarbon on here. And why am I doing that? I've kind of gotten back to my roots of using only fluorocarbon on certain baits. One thing I like about it, when you're just making little short pitches like this, I really can control the amount of line that slips out of my reel a lot better. So, you know, when I want to make just a short pitch, it comes out of my reel a lot more control. With braid, you'll notice when you flip it, it's so limp and so supple that it just flies off the reel. Well, that's great when I'm trying to make a long cast and reach out and touch something, but in this situation, I just want to make really controlled little light pitches to dark spots, little rocks that I'm seeing in the water, stumps, anything that I see that's inconsistent on the bottom, I just want to make really controlled pitches to it. So just having straight fluorocarbon, it allows me to do that in a much more efficient manner. The other thing that I've noticed about it is, in the process of trying to get some underwater footage with braid to fluoro, I really started to notice, man, when you think you're just shaking that bait in place, with braid to fluoro, you're moving that bait 6-7 foot at a time every time you impart action on it with the rod tip. But with fluorocarbon, it has stretch in it, so when you're sitting there shaking it, when you let the bait hit the bottom and you go to kind of just put a little motion to it, that little bit of sponginess, the bait doesn't move nearly as much. So that's something to think about during periods when the fish are spawning. Maybe fishing is just a little tougher and you need to slow down. Go to straight fluorocarbon. It has nothing to do with the fish seeing the braid. It has more to do with the way the bait falls. And when you're moving that bait along, you're not pulling it 5, 6, 7 foot at a time. So the soft plastic is called a fatties. The reason I like this bait, it has a little hook pocket in it. And with light line, you know, the biggest problem you have is hooking the fish, or actually getting the hook to penetrate through the plastic into the fish's mouth. But with that hook pocket, that hook presses through really easily. So you don't ever have a problem with that. And this is called a Power Finesse Shrooms head. What I like about it is it has the perfect size hook. And it's just a little bit on the small side for this bait, most people would think, but I like it because what it does is give this bait more action. This tail is really free to do whatever you want to do with it. And it's not like a traditional stick bait. You can see it's kind of big, and then it has a taper in it. What that does is just make the bait look a little bit more appealing. It's a different profile. I just like it. Maybe bass like it, I'm not sure, but I like this one a lot. And that Power Finesse Shrooms doesn't really hang in the rocks just because of the shape of the head, the mushroom shaped head. It seems to come through the rocks really good. But that's the package. It's simple. In tournaments, you know, we always want to get fancy with stuff, but it seems like always simple is always better. And just a simple jig head and plastic, it catches way more fish for me in the springtime, really throughout the year, but definitely in the springtime. I keep it simple, something that covers water with, and catch a lot of fish with it. What I'm doing right here is I'm just going in these little pockets, and you can see these little patches of green, little patches of light. What that is just differences in the bottom, little inconsistencies. Some of it is moss. There's a little grass that grows here on the bottom. Some of it is sand, some of it is clay. And all I'm doing is, when I see something along the bank that looks a little weird to me, I just flip my bait over there, cast to it, let it sink, hit the bottom, shake it a couple times, and if one doesn't have it, I pull it up and move on. So you really can cover a lot of water fishing this way, but I don't really make long casts with it. I like to make, you know, I wait till I get right up on a target. That's something that I learned, is being really patient with my cast. I don't like to make it, you know, out there 60, 80 foot. I like to just plunk it around, because If you're more patient with it, you can be more accurate with your cast. You're a whole lot more likely to hit your target at 30 foot than you are at 60 foot. So that first cast, especially when they're spawning, is very important, because if you pull that fish off the bed too far and he doesn't find your bait, you're not that likely to catch him. But if you drop it right in his house, he can't stand it, he's gonna pick it up and walk off with it. Shaky heads, soft plastics, keep it simple, keep the boat moving. If you're not getting bit, pick it up and go. It's springtime, the fish bite this time of the year. That would be my advice to anybody that's looking to catch more fish on a clear impoundment like this, is just keep the boat moving and keep simple baits in your hand.